All right. Good morning, everybody. How are we?
Good.
Okay.
Oh, there's Diane Birch.
Diane Birch. Hello.
What is that
Hello.
voice?
It was Kathy Ray.
Hey, Diane.
Hi. No, it sounds like a helicopter in the background.
I know. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Kathy, I think
Hey,
you were a little fuzzy
It's
earlier.
not a washing machine.
Okay.
We have a test. We have a test going because we have a leak in it, and it's off balance. So we hope we've got it set up straight now. Let's do a test run. So I have to leave the laundry room door open in case water starts coming out.
I think you need a Zoom room.
Yeah. Isn't that fun? Like the way they were talking about everyone yesterday and how people are looking for, like 4 or 5 years ago, everyone's like, I want an open floor plan and I want the kitchen to open to the family room and I blah, blah, blah. Now people don't want open floor plans, right? They're like, I want a dedicated private space where I can be on the computer and not be disturbed.
Yeah, I don't usually sit in my kitchen, but I have to because of what was going on with our washing machine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably working from home this week and my wife is a photographer and we just built a studio. So I'm down in the studio today. And like nobody's messing with me. I can lock the door from the inside,
When I think of a Zoom room, I think of the King's Speech.
Yeah.
Colin Firth's character, he'd go off into that little room with the microphone and the headset.
Well, you have quite a room behind you, Diane.
Yeah, she's in a
Oh,
library.
that's the Dartmouth Library.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's a photo.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good morning.
Then you don't know what room I'm in. Sorry.
Let's do a little recap from yesterday's mega camp session. Talk to me. What did you guys? We got there's just. I mean, we're only in day one, and there was just so much. So, talk a little bit about your biggest takeaways. What were some of your biggest takeaways? I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to speak. Who would like to start?
So actually, I'm just going over my notes right now, and something I put a star next to was ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results.
I love that.
I feel like that's a simple one, but that's also something that I need to remember to push me to keep going.
Oftentimes the most simple concepts and phrases are the most impactful. What does that mean specifically to you? What would you say is a simple task that now knowing that you're going to continue to be persistent on in an effort to get the results you're seeking? Give me an example of that.
Even something as simple as just calling somebody. So or a social media post, just doing that consistently too, to grow a following and have people that see you online and know what you're doing.
Yeah. And you do it consistently, they begin to expect it from you. Like we've talked a little bit about having a social media schedule, right? So let's say like every Monday you're going to have a real estate related statistic, right? Every Tuesday you're going to spotlight a local business. Every Wednesday you're going to talk about, let's say, events that are going on this weekend in the neighborhood or in the community, right? And then people begin to see those trends and they start to say, well, gosh, I wonder what Rose is going to tell us today about the market. And they like tune in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they begin to expect, they see trends, right? They see you continuing to do the same behavior, which is commitment, which, by the way, if you have commitment in that, it's proof that you'll have commitment in other things, which people are impressed with. And then they'll begin to appreciate it and expect it, right? Awesome. It reminds me of the guy who said how he speaks to how he has like 4 members of his team calling on that one property, to schedule it, to confirm it, to give feedback or whatever. And it's just like, when I'm a seller and I get to choose from one of 20 different buyers and buyer's agents that I want to work with, right? I'm the bridge between that group and my client, right? So I say, hey, this person didn't even bother to give feedback or tell me they were coming, and they just sent, hey, confirm receipt. And this other party, right, I've already heard from their lender. I know they have an assistant. I know their systems are tight. They asked what was important to my seller. It's like, how can you show your professionalism at a high level when you're dealing with your partners, right? Your listing, the other listing agent or the other buyer's agent. Diane, did you have anything you want to share? What were some of your highlights from yesterday?
So I did great in the morning, but the couple of sessions right after lunch, I kind of copped out, I just was hard. But let's see. Some of the stuff, it was kind of interesting. It was directly out of Melba's Ignite.
Yeah.
Like the one guy that was talking, that was doing the scripts and stuff. It was like, that's exactly what she tells you to do in the class.
Right.
So let's see. I put a bunch of notes, probably more than people want to hear. Let me see what my big aha was. I like
By the way,
guy.
everything is recorded. So, over the next week or so, just block off a little bit of time each day and say, hey, I'm going to go back and watch something I didn't get a chance to watch for 30 minutes today, so that I don't lose the momentum and excitement of that message,
Yeah, there was a lot of information. So I think Keith Cunningham's interview was interesting.
Yeah.
So to think of the common themes of success, something I'm good at, something people want, something people are willing to pay for. And you also, even at the intersection, you still have to have luck.
Right.
And then that feeds into that consistent execution.
Yes.
Ordinary things that must be done consistently, execute, to have success. So I thought about getting the book Thinking in Bets, because
Yep.
it's different from how I think.
Yes.
So that would be a growth moment for me. Happiness is a habit.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
Okay, let's make a deal. It's currently in my Amazon shopping cart.
Okay.
Let's both buy it today.
All right. We can buy it.
Let's both buy it today.
The happiness is a habit.
Ooh, I love that one.
And self-image is a choice.
Yep.
And so those were both from Gary Keller. There was one question, and I actually put this in my notes that I posted out there. Maybe it's because I'm new, but I'm not familiar with Gary's take on love is time.
Yeah, he's not really said that, and I've not heard him say that before in that way. What I think that he's saying is that the most important thing that people have is time, right?
Well,
it's not renewable, right? If I have something and I give it to you, I might be able to replace it, right? But I can't replace time. And so the way that you spend your time is how you show love for the world.
Gotcha. So I saw somebody in their post they did it as all capital letters and they put periods in between each one. So then I wondered if it stood for something.
Oh,
Like
I don't know. I'll find out for you because
okay. I tried to
Yep.
look it up, but I'm under the sorry, I can't think of the guy's name right off the top of my head because it's too early, but the 5 love languages.
Yeah,
Time is only one of them. Time is not mine.
Dr.
So
Gary
if you
Chapman.
show it to me by time, even as a real estate agent, if you show it to me by time, I'm going to be irritated with you because I don't want to take a bunch of time. I'm happy to answer your questions and whatever, but I don't want to have this long chat. That's not who I am. Mine is words of affirmation.
Yep, I'm the same way.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's not time. So that's why I thought maybe Gary was saying something else. So,
Yeah, Dr. Gary Chapman wrote the 5 love languages.
Right. Thank you, Pam.
thank you.
I'll look to see if TIME, if he has an idea for what the T stands for and what the I stands for. I think in general, it's not necessarily how you want to, like, because I'm the same way. I don't let me use me as an example, okay? I'm like probably the worst at getting like a 2-page email and then responding by great ideas, see you Sunday, right? It's like like I'm terrible at that. And that's just because like I'm kind of in and out. I'm quick. I like you. I don't want to have a 3-hour conversation with a client. I want to have a 3-minute conversation with the client and go do something else. It's not because I don't love them. It's just because I want to develop a different relationship, right? I'm developing that relationship as much as necessary, but then I want to go hang out with my kids or my wife or you guys, right? Like those relationships are more important to me. So if you were to evaluate your day, like we did this last year with the leadership team, and we all carried around a piece of paper that was split into 15-minute intervals. And I said, I want everyone to write down what they're doing every 15 minutes because we're going to prove to ourselves that we waste a lot of time, right? And then we're going to fix it. Okay. So how you spend your time, like the people you spend your time with, those are the relationships that you're probably saying to yourself are the most important or the most deep, right? And as you pour more and more into your clients and meet more and more new people, you might develop some extra love for them. But that's not saying that you're like something's wrong with like you or something. It's just simply saying like I'm working on developing other relationships, right? You spend time on working out because your health is important. You spend time learning a new language because that's important for you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, got it.
I love how Keith Cunningham said something. He said, there is no magic pill.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have conversations with real estate agents all the time, and you can tell that they are, they think that I have this like secret box, that inside the box is like a secret script that like only the really cool agents get to see, right? And like when you say this line, like all of your clients will immediately sign paperwork. Like, guys, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
There is no secret script. See, the secret script is what Rose was talking about 20 minutes ago, which is consistent activity over time, right? That's the secret script. Okay. Good morning, you guys. I haven't seen who all is here yet. Heather, Brian, Pam, Ebony, Liz. Who wants to share some of their ideas from yesterday?
Yeah, I always like the happiness is a habit.
What does that mean to you?
127 at desk.
Means kind of have a choice.
Yeah.
So whatever habits you choose, that's what's going to make you happy.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite all day long.
What does it mean to you, Kathy?
Bad habits will make you miserable, and good habits will make you happy.
Well, and
you
sometimes
choose how
bad
you-
habits. Sometimes bad habits will make you happy, right?
That's true.
If
Yes.
you're an alcoholic and you drink beer, then you're going to be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like it reminds me of that diagram that I've shown you guys a few times, where it has like life happens in the middle, and you can either take an accountable response to it, right, and acknowledge reality and come up with a plan and all that, or you can take the victim mindset, which is like denying reality, pretending it doesn't exist, getting pissed off about it. Like it's kind of like, what can I control and what can I not control, right? So let's say you get a flat tire on the way to work. Like, dude, it's still flat. Okay? If you have a crappy attitude about it, it's not going to change it. It's still flat. So how can you have a decent attitude about it? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kathy, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, you know, like in any kind of adversity, like when something bad happens, a lot of times we tend to think we're the only one that's hurting or miserable, or you know,
Oh, yeah.
but everybody has something bad happen. And if you can just like choose, I mean, you can be sad or you can be hurt that something's happened, but choose to be happy, because one of my favorite bold laws is your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts.
Yes. What does that mean
So
to you, Kathy? Say
that
the
means
law one more time and then tell us what it means to you.
your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts. So when you're thinking bad stuff, when you're thinking sad, or you know, any kind of bad feelings, every cell in your body is feeling that. It can make you sick.
Yeah.
So if you can just focus on something good, focus on your child's smile in a picture. If your child's not, you know, focus on something that makes you happy, and you're gonna be happy. And the things you focus on expand. Those are my two favorite. But the cells eavesdropping on the thoughts, and then focus on what you focus on expands. So if you focus on being happy and finding something joyful, it's going to expand, and things are going to come to y'all. Last year, my dad died, and I was, some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. He was murdered, and it put me in a funk, and all I could focus on for several months were getting the information that the GBI needed from me, and then I would get so wrapped up in it. And that's one of the reasons that my production fell off. But my child had a daughter, and, you know, I wasn't focusing on my business. I wasn't focusing on being happy. And it took over my life. It really did. So I had to shake that in like November, but from July to November, it was rough,
Yeah.
because I was not focusing on what I should have been. I wasn't focusing on finding something joyful every day. I was focusing on getting everything the GBI needed from me.
Right. And I don't think Kathy or I is saying like you can't mourn, like you can't, you know,
No, you can't.
have an emotional reaction. Of course you can.
Right. But I wasn't focusing on something good. I was focusing on something bad. And you know, my thoughts were all about what had happened and what I needed to do to make it right. But when you focus on joy and happiness, everything else falls into place. It really does.
Yeah, there's a meme that I'm gonna try to find today if I can. Maybe you guys have seen it. It says something like, you know, don't get mad that your kids are screaming. Be grateful you have children, right? Don't get mad that your house is dirty. Be grateful you have a house, right? Don't get messy that there's a stain on the chair. Be grateful you have the money to buy the chair. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And I kind of, to piggyback on what Kathy experienced. 20 years ago, my best friend's daughter was killed. She was 11 years old. And of course, my friend grieved tremendously. It was, you know, it was an accident that occurred in a store that killed her. And, you know, she, of course, grieved tremendously. But one thing she said to me stuck with me and really affected me. She had a younger son, or she still has him. Anyway, she says, you know, I've got to decide how much I want to let this affect his life. It's going to affect it, but I've got to, you know, I want it to have the least amount of impact on his life that it can. You know, we can be miserable the rest of our lives if we choose to do that. but I can't do that. You know, I don't want him to grow up that way, because he was 5 at the time, or 6 at the time. So, you know, that's where it goes into, we make the choice in how we feel. It's a decision we all make. And I think so many people don't realize that.
I really like that line you said a second ago. How did you say it? You said, we can be miserable the rest of our lives if we choose to. Is that what you said exactly?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I
Somebody
mean,
who listened
that's,
will tell me.
guys, that's what we have control over, right?
And I see so many adults who, you know, oh, my childhood was miserable. Yeah, that was your childhood. You're choosing to make your adulthood miserable too.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right, guys. Thanks for sharing. I mean, these are not easy concepts to consider. Diane, this is a little heavier than we normally are on a Wednesday morning.
It's all right.
It really is.
But you know, the purpose of getting together every day is to acknowledge the things that we're thinking, right? And sometimes the things that we're thinking are creating a lot of great energy and are allowing us to get contracts signed and help families move and build wealth and all that. And sometimes the things that we're encountering and thinking are things we're struggling with. And just like we are partners with each other for to celebrate, I encourage you to be partners with each other when somebody's having a lousy day, right? And that's the way we're really going to take it to the next level. All right, let's get back to Mega Camp for a second. Who wants to share some of the other things that they really enjoyed from Mega Camp?
I have something.
Go ahead, Ebony.
I forgot the guy's name, but he said, find 3 things when they did the circle: something I'm good at, something people want, and something people will pay for. Because in my mind, that was equivalent to finding your one thing.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, just put things in to perspective. And I like the guy who was talking about the webinar, Jen, how he set that up. That was genius. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I took away a lot of.
Wait, so I can be hosting a live webinar where I'm paying somebody to manage the chat room, yet I'm having dinner with my family.
It doesn't get any better.
It doesn't get any better, y'all. It doesn't get any better. There's just so much good stuff from yesterday.
One more thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for just the comments beforehand, Kathy and Pam, because sometimes you never know. Both of you sharing that gives, you never know how it gives somebody else. Like, you know what? I thought this day could have been rough, but your experience and you sharing your story just gave me that, you know what? It's not that bad. Get out of your funk, get up, be great, because people have went through way more than you, and you don't know what someone else has battled. It was more of it was inspiration. So thank you, and my condolences. I'm absolutely sorry because it's horrible, but thank you because it just gave me that that little perk that I needed today. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you. Hey, I do want
awesome.
something you just said was you got to get up, and one thing as adults, we got to get up because people are relying on us. They're relying on us for a lot of different things, but people are relying on us. And if you can, like, I don't like dealing with grumpy people. So if, just smile, be happy. And even if it's something you don't want to do, but people are relying on you, whether it's your family or clients or other agents or, people are relying on you. So get up and do it.
I love that.
That was about one of the favorite things that I saw yesterday when Stephen Cooley in Charlotte, the first thing he said was, I helped feed 41 families or support 41 families through.
Yeah, I said that at the growth session this morning. I thought that was one of the greatest moments of Mega.
That just it made me so warm, really. It was incredible.
to give you some perspective, he's one of the top 5 agents in all of KW. He'll sell
Yeah.
well over 1,500 homes this year. Okay. And when asked, what are you most proud of? He says that he provided an opportunity and an income to 41 families.
Yeah.
Now, is that the kind of leader that you wouldn't mind hanging out with?
Absolutely.
Right. So as we are developing our businesses, guys, and we're doing all the things that everyone's saying to do, right? Learn your presentation, practice your scripts, call a bunch of people, set up your systems. There's going to be a moment not all that long from now where you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, I need help. The quality of my life is starting to get threatened, right? A lot of people want me at a lot of different places at the same time. At that exact moment, that's when you're going to need to go find a talented individual. It reminds me of the woman who was put on probation by her assistant, right?
Yeah.
Or ISA. And her ISA was like, look, I want to win. And I'm not winning here. So you either need to fix this or I'm out, right? So when you come across a talented, like I said, if you've got an A talent for an admin person or a marketing person or ISA or a buyer's agent or whatever, and you're a B leader, they're not going to tolerate that. Okay. If you're a B leader, your team's full of C's. Okay. If you want an A on your team, you better be an A+. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I didn't know about this about Gary, and he kind of said it very, very quickly towards the end. And I've actually this is probably the thought that I've been thinking about the most yesterday, is he said, I have never been 100% owner in any business that I've been involved in.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I caught that.
Right. And I think that sometimes we have a tendency to think that we can figure out how to do everything. Right. Like, I'll be the buyer's agent. I'll be the listing agent. I'll be the social media person. I'll learn command. I'll blah, 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 blah. And the truth of the matter is you're not great at everything. And you don't even like doing everything. Right.
Wasn't that, I mean, that's something that it was visible the whole entire conference. Like, no one succeeds alone or something like that. I mean, it's there the whole time.
Exactly. I don't know if you guys watched. I missed the last couple minutes of Tim Ferriss's thing, so I've been going back to look to see if it's been added. And they had like a 2 or 3 minute video of getting ready for day one. Did y'all happen to watch that? It's in the video section. And they had an interview with the live stream guy, and they had an interview with the art director. Keller Williams has an art director. Y'all get that? We're trying to create an incredible experience for you. Who would have thought that KWRI employs an art director, which kind of implies that there's people that work in the art department. You know what I mean? There's probably more than one art person.
Do you think that background just appeared out of nowhere?
Oh my gosh, it drove me nuts.
Yeah.
The green drove me nuts.
But I mean, that's who does that stuff. The art director. That's who produces all the, literature, all the,
Oh, I know. I just I didn't think about it.
Getting back to
my mind doesn't think that way.
the last few minutes of Tim Ferriss, somebody asked him a question about, what are his recommendations? I don't know. It was about the Kindle book, Go In, 9 Points of Conscious Living. Get the Waking Up app. Movement practice, which is where you're supposed to move 5 minutes every morning with the dumbbell, or whatever. And then he had a podcast, Greg McQuinn, that he wanted you to listen to, and then he had a couple that he wanted you to listen to that he was on, but I didn't catch those. But that's all I got from.
If you go back, there is let me see if I can find where it is, but all of the speakers had a bio. So I think you can go back and get notes on their bio, and it will include a lot of the key quotes and his recommendations, like you were just mentioning.
Yeah, I got all the. I think his thing to me was not everything that matters is measured, and not everything that is measured matters.
I love
But,
that. I
but I
highlighted that too.
would have liked to have gone to, you treasure what you measure. So if you're
I
not
like that.
measuring the right things, your whole point of view is skewed.
That's right. And by the way, Diane, the right things for you are likely slightly different than the right things for any of the rest of us, right? Ebony
Well,
might measure her success on how often she can pick up her kids from school. You might measure your success with how large your bank account is. I mean, there's just so many different ways to determine how you're winning. What is winning to you?
I guess I was taking it because this was for agents. I was sort of a little more basic than that. And it's like, for me, that's one of the reasons I'll join the group, your group, right?
Yeah.
Is what should I be measuring as a new agent? The phone calls, the lead gens, the script memorizing, the role playing, the mocking, the whatever. Whatever
Yeah.
is going to get me from where my unconsciously incompetent to my unconsciously competent.
I like that you said it that way. You know, and we'll certainly be going through plenty of that detail. Um, I heard a number, almost every single person. Gary goes to, and Jay does the same thing. You know, walk me through that. Like, they want to hear the mechanics of it, and oftentimes the mechanics are shared with statistics, right? So somebody says, well, as soon as COVID hit and we had to go to a digital buyer presentation instead of a in-person presentation, our attendance went up by 11.5% and our conversion went down by 7.5%. Like, they know that stuff, right? It's
Yep.
like when I had a group of a home buyer seminar with 8 people in it, my conversion was 30%. When I had a buyer presentation with 18 people in it, my conversion was 20%, right? So they're measuring these things. And they also said, like, our percentage of appointments set to kept changed, but their conversion ratio also changed. So again, Diane, when you see the tracking sheet, you'll see, you know, there's a decent amount of stuff that I'm asking you to track. It's not because I have nothing better to do. It's because I know that these are the things that we should be monitoring so that we can continue to move forward in our business. Make sense?
Because I'm just at the basics, that's all.
Yeah. Welcome aboard. We're all at the basics. We're all at the basics. Some of us have just done the basics a little bit more, right? All right, who wants to close us out with a takeaway for today? Don't forget, we have a 10:15 to 10:30 session on Zoom with the Roswell office, and then at 10:30 you'll hop into your Mega Camp group. Oh, and don't forget to post your numbers, please.
Are we supposed to put the ahas in the thing that Aubrey sent?
Yeah,
I think
so
Heather forwarded it to me.
Aubrey's stealing all my ideas. I had an idea to have a joint document, so does he. I have an idea to have a WhatsApp group, so does he. All right, so we can post our stuff. Let's share it with everybody. I kept most of our dialogue yesterday within the PC group, and then I think I posted on the larger group 3 or 4 times, just was something that I thought was really powerful. So, you know, hopefully you're taking lots of good notes. My desire and my request is that you are willing to share what you're willing to share, put it into the PC group document, shared doc, put it into the larger document. You'll have access to both. We just want to share as much as we can. That's what we do here.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Cool. Okay, anyone have a powerful message to close us out?
I have a question.
Okay.
Did anybody figure out what exhibit hall was and how to attend it?
So I did figure out a little bit of that. So if you go, on the left-hand side, you know, there's a tab that says, like, I think it says exhibit hall or marketplace or something like that, right? If you go in there, it'll show you, like,
All the
30
vendors?
Yeah, and then each vendor They have like a info tab and a website and a schedule of when they're going to be doing a live presentation and all that. For those that were not in here yesterday, I'm going to give you a quick comment that's going to sound like I'm your parent, and I don't mean it to sound like I'm your parent. Please lead with revenue. Okay. Please lead with revenue. Do not go into that exhibit hall and buy every product they offer. Okay. I know if you sell one home over the next 25 years, it will probably pay for itself. But if you don't have the time or the commitment to embrace these tools in your business right now, you'll end up with 30 different things that cost $30 a month and you don't use any of them. Okay. So if you have a question about a product, I'm here to help you. Please think about it for more than 2 seconds before you whip out your credit card, okay? Real estate agents are like the most, like if you want to make a killing, just go develop a product for a real estate agent. They'll buy anything. Okay? So, take a moment. Don't open your pocketbook until you think about it hard, okay? Fair enough?
Yeah. And I have, oops. I think there was saying something.
One thing, I'll end with this. This isn't like mind-blowing, but it just happens to be in front of me. And it's more real estate related than some of the stuff that we've talked about, which is in the follow-up conversations, try to end with a yes, right? Would you be willing to allow me to follow up with you? Can I send you a market update? Can I introduce you to a lender? Would you like a recommendation for a roofer? You know, feel free to consider me as a resource. Call me with any questions, right? Try to end the conversation with a yes and explain to them what you intend to do for them next. Okay? All right, you guys. Thank you again for all your participation. I'm loving. I feel like we're like right at like a moment where like most of us met each other in person and we come back and we got Mega Camp. I feel like many of us, I mean, our numbers, guys, we're going to clobber every single record we've had for months based on how you've reported in the first week or two. So keep up the good work. I feel like we are snowballing here. So I'm super proud of all of you, and I'm super proud to be in business with all of you, okay? Have an awesome day at Mega Camp.
You too.
Thank you. You
You're
too.
welcome.
Bye, everybody.